Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Taro Jayaguri Ashtaprayesha Vadresha Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike. Mokam Karoti Vajanam Pangum Langayati Girivat Kripatam Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhava Shri Chaitanya Ishvara Stanustapumsham Viswasvena Kadasana Natpayo Natpadayo Yadarati Shramayevahi Kevalam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devakinandanaya Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo. Welcome to Srimad Bagavatam session, Canto 11, Chapter 3, text number 22. Tatra Bhagavatan Dharman Sikshet Guru Atma Daivatam Amaya Yanuvritya Yais Tushed Atmata Duhari. Tatra, there in the association of spiritual master, Bagavatam Dharman, the science of devotion service, Sikshet should learn. Guru Atma Daivataha, he for whom the spiritual master is his very life and worshipable deity. Amayaya, without deceit. Anuvritya, by faithful service. Yai, by which devotion service. Tushet can be satisfied. Atma, Supreme Soul, Atmadaha, who bestows his own self. Hari, Lord Hari. Translation purport given by devotees, disciples of Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Accepting the Bonafide spiritual master as one's life and soul and worshipable deity, the disciple should learn from him the process of pure devotion service. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, the soul of all souls, is inclined to give himself to his pure devotees. Therefore, the disciple should learn from the spiritual master to serve the Lord without duplicity and in such a faithful and favorable way that Supreme Lord, being satisfied, will offer himself to the faithful disciple. Purport. According to Srila Sridhara Swami, the Lord's tendency to give himself to his pure devotee is demonstrated in the case of Bali Maharaj, who sacrificed his universal kingdom for the pleasure of Lord Vamanadev. Lord Vamana was so pleased by his selfless surrender of Bali Maharaj that the Lord became doorman in the palace of Bali, who was reinstalled as a great leader in the universe. Srila Jiva Goswami comments that the spiritual master is to be considered the Atma, or the very life, the disciple. Since real life begins when one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, although one may experience many seemingly wonderful or important events in a dream, one's real life begins when he wakes up. Similarly, since the spiritual master gives birth to the disciple by awakening him to spiritual life, a bona fide disciple understands that his spiritual master is the very basis of his life. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all pleasure, and thus the Lord's giving himself to a pure devotee indicates that such a devotee becomes immersed in the highest possible ecstasy. In this connection, there is the following Shruti mantra: Annada Dhimani Bhutani Jayante. Indeed, it is from the all blissful Supreme that all these creatures have come into being. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has further pointed out that the Lord bestows his own self upon a pure devotee. Such a fortunate devotee can actually see the Lord, touch him, and directly engage in his service. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one should never consider one's spiritual master to be mundane or an equal level with oneself. One should see the spiritual master as being always under the shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. One should never try to engage the spiritual master in one's personal service with the mentality of lording it over spiritual master and obtaining through him some material gain. One who is actually advancing will become more and more eager to serve the spiritual master, and thus such a disciple experiences pressure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Rupa Goswami has delineated 4 preliminary requisites for advancement for the sincere disciple. Guru Pada Ashrayas Tasmat Krishna Dikshadi Sikshanam Vishrambena Guru Seva Sadhu Vartamanu Vartanam. Accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, becoming initiated by spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotion service from him, obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion, following the footsteps of great acharyas under the direction of spiritual master. Reference Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu 1.2.74. One who has executed these preliminary duties is qualified to relate Srimad Bhagavatam. When one actually hears the sound vibration of Srimad Bhagavatam as it is, he becomes free from the desire for sense gratification and mental speculation and is happy and satisfied in the service of Lord Krishna. Yashyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pumshaha shoka moho bhayapaha. Simply by giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, the feeling for devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion and fearfulness. Bhagavatam 1.7.7. One should hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a bona fide spiritual master who can expertly engage the prosperity for loving Krishna that arises from hearing the transcendental sound of Bhagavatam. Such a transcendental authorized engagement is called the Bhagavata Dharma. Within the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, there are many thousands of authorized engagements pertaining to the society's missionary activities, and by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and performing such engagements, the society members feel relief from shoka, lamentation, moha, illusion and bhaya, fear. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, those who have achieved a mature understanding of the transcendental sound vibration of Srimad Bhagavatam may adopt the order of Tridandi Sannyasa as described in the Hamsa Gita, the 13th chapter of this canto. A so-called Vaishnava who whimsically neglects the strict control of the body, mind and speech cannot actually achieve the center of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master. Even in such a whimsical sense, enjoyer makes a show of assuming the dress of Danda of Vaishnava Sannyasa, he will not attain the desired result of Krishna. A bona fide Vaishnava should work earnestly to free himself from any tinge of sense gratification and mental speculation, and with a loving heart he should carry out the orders of his bona fide spiritual master. By always remembering the exalted position of the bona fide spiritual master, the disciple will achieve shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Om Agnanatimirandasya Ghananjanasalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutashayam Gadamahyam Dadati Sapadadikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare. So from the last verse, we have discussed yesterday that 21st sloka, that the importance of the spiritual master or guru, the role of the guru and the position of the guru, and how best the guru should be to his disciple, to train his disciple. All these things we have discussed yesterday. And also a disciple should inquire or atato brahma jignasa. So he should, the disciple should always have that mood of inquiring or doing a questioning about his very life, Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. Jignash. Therefore, any person who is seriously, see, if any person is seriously inquiring about the uh, about Supreme Personality of Godhead and about Atma Tattva, that particular person is very, very serious in going home back to Godhead. Because only when he has that attitude or desire to attain the lotus feet of Krishna, then spontaneously he will make journey towards that particular point, because he starts inquiring about the supreme position of Krishna and the constitutional position of himself. The constitutional position of Jiva is Jivera Sarubhai Krishnare Nityadas. So the Guru is well trained, and also a Guru should come from the Bonafide disciplic succession, and the Guru should be in a position to train the disciples so that he can be detached from all material entanglement and should attach to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's a duty of a spiritual master, once he accepts his disciple, to deliver him from this most dangerous and what we can say, precarious condition, Srila Prabhupada says. But people in general think that they are very happy in this material world, because as and when they are required, they are gratifying their senses by having a regular 3 times of food, eating, mating, sleeping and defending. Everything is going on fine. Then they claim that they are very happy and there is no such problems at all, and there is no need of any spirituality, and there is no need of any spiritual guru, just for the sake of attracting others, or just for the sake of showing like a show bottle in the showcase that I am also involved in all the religious activities, and there is no need for me to get help from others. I am self-sufficient, I am self-satisfied. And also there are so many different categories in this society. Some people claim that they are highly placed in academic point of view, and they hold so many degrees. In spite of that, which all those so-called qualifications doesn't attract the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or it will not serve the purpose of inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it hardly fetches how to earn and how to make money, and how to live in big apartments, and also finally when the time passes, the representative of Lord Kala Sarpa, they have to leave everything, and they have to waste a valuable human life. So in this particular verse, in this 22nd verse, accepting the bona fide spiritual master is a very, very important and significant role in one's disciple's life. Because the bona fide spiritual master is the representation of Shri Radha Govinda deities. Because in Krishna, in Gita, Krishna says, Tadvidi pranipratena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyantite gnanam jnaninam tattva darshanaha. 432. 4.32 Krishna says, you should, there are 3 points to be focused here while serving the spiritual master. So very humbly questioning the spiritual master and also serving the spiritual master, want to remain in a highly humiliated state. So these 3 qualities a disciple should have while serving the Guru. No matter how much the disciple is qualified, a disciple at any cost should never overview the spiritual master or surpass the spiritual master, even though he is highly well versed in all these scriptures. He should remain in a humble position and tries to serve the spiritual master in a very kind-hearted way, because the spiritual master has seen the absolute truth. Like, for example, there are so many Babajis in our disciplic section. Gaurakishore Baba, Srila Gaurakishore Babaji Maharaj, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, all these Babajis have no acquaintance of any scriptures, but still they are very elevated devotees, and they were fully absorbed in chanting the holy names of the Lord, which is the Yuga Dharma of this Kali Yuga. And they are always in a topmost position of Samadhi stage, meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chanting the holy names of the Lord in a Vasudeva state. That is, there are 3 types of chanting the holy names of the Lord: Namaparad, Namabhas, and Shuddhanam. And they will be always chanting in the holy names in Shuddhanam. So Namaparad means with offenses we are chanting the holy names of the Lord. Namabhas means without offenses we are chanting the holy names of the Lord. And Shuddhanam is in a pure state, in a pure consciousness, we are chanting the holy names of the Lord. So the spiritual master, the duty of a human life, once he get this rare birth of human, he should always take the second birth, which means that the first birth is given by the parents and the second birth is given by the spiritual masters. So the spiritual masters giving birth is it has great value, because the first birth is given by any sort of a human beings, any living beings. They may get any sort of a birth in their previous birth or in their earlier birth. They may be animal, they may be birds, they may be insects, they may be humans. So anyone can give this birth, but the second birth is called Dvija. This with Dvija Shrestha, this birth is particularly given by the Bonafide spiritual masters, not by any ordinary person. So this is very mandatory for the disciple to accept the spiritual master and to have the second birth and follow the instructions of the spiritual master in his advancement of his Krishna consciousness. So there is a great relationship between Lord and his devotees in the case of Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj gave words to Vamanadev, and whatever he asked, he pleased the Vamanadev. He pleased Vamanadev, and he gave so much pleasure to Vamanadev, and Vamanadev, Lord Vamanadev got pleased, and he accepts the position of a security guard in the palace of Bali Maharaj in Sutalaloka. In Sutalaloka, he was protecting his great devotee Bali Maharaj, because Bali Maharaj is the representative of Atma Nivedanam. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So Bali Maharaj, he has fully surrendered at the lotus feet of the Vamanadev. So Vamanadev, by getting the maximum satisfaction of the service of Bali Maharaj, he accepted the position of guarding Bali Maharaj in Sutalaloka, so that no enemy can touch him or no harm should be done to his devotee Vamanadev. So here in Bagavatam also we can see that the Lord himself accepts the spiritual master. When Krishna and Balaram were in Gurukul, they accepted Sandipani Muni as their spiritual master, and they served the Sandipani Muni, his spiritual master, to the greater extent by bringing firewood from the forest, and also by serving them in Gurukul, by doing Shravanam and Kirtanam, and no matter how much supreme he is, but still Krishna accepted the humble position like a disciple. He was hearing about himself from Sandipani Muni, and he never questioned his spiritual master that I know everything about all these Puranas, Shastras. I myself is Supreme Personality. He never questioned like this. He never made a statement like this, but he took a very humble position, and so that the future generations of the disciples also should follow the role model of Supreme Personality of God, Krishna and Balaram. So Srila Jiva Goswami also comments that spiritual master is to be considered the Atma, the very life of the disciple, since real life begins when one is initiated by the Bonafide spiritual master. Although one may experience many wonderful or important events in a dream, one's real life begins when he begins. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Supreme Personality of God in the reservoir of all Prashara, thus Lord is giving himself purely what he needs, most in the highest possible ecstasy. So why one should accept the spiritual master? Because one should accept the spiritual master because the spiritual master shows the way. Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya. Because we are all in Andhakar, we are all in ignorance. So the spiritual master opens the light, or he gives the enlightenment through Shastras and shows us the Deepa, so that we can follow the footsteps of the spiritual master to advance in devotion service and to render pure devotion service. So it is he who, that spiritual master, is acting as a bridge in between the disciple and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one spiritual master, pleased by the service of the disciple, by having the parameters, like how best he studies Srimad Bagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, and how he is well versed in that, and how he is preaching all these literatures, and also how he applies in his own life. By observing all this, the spiritual master get pleased, and the Guru, once Guru is pleased, the spiritual master Krishna is also pleased, and he bestows his fullest mercy and blessings upon upon the devotee by touching him, by seeing him, by hugging him, doing all sorts of loving relationship to his devotee. So that's why as a disciple should never think his spiritual master as a mundane person or an ordinary person, or by seeing his external appearance one should not comment or do any offenses at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. By doing such things, the disciple will never get a spiritual master in his lifetime. Once for eternity, he will never get the spiritual master, and all his material belongings also will get doomed, and he becomes very useless in the society. So the spiritual master should never be treated as a mundane or ordinary person. Srila Rupa Goswami has mentioned 4 different steps for the advancement of the sincere disciple: accepting the shelter of the spiritual master, becoming initiated by the spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotion service from him, obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion, following in the footsteps of great acharyas under the direction of a spiritual master. One who has executed these preliminary duties is qualified way to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the qualities a disciple can have to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. One should surrender at the lotus feet, one should take the shelter at the lotus feet of spiritual master, and one should become a disciple or get initiated by spiritual master and learning how to discharge devotion service, obeying the orders of the spiritual master with faith and devotion, following the footsteps of great acharyas. So these are the 4 qualities to relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So if one's disciple relishes Srimad Bhagavatam, he will be free from sense gratification and mental speculation, because all his anarthas in the heart will be vanished. So he becomes free from all sinful activities and all anarthas. So once his heart is cleansed, he will relish the mellows of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So simply by giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, the feeling for loving devotion service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, sprouts up to once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion and fearlessness. And also it is said in Bagavatam that 1.7.7, a spiritual master should be expertise in delivering the messages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, so that the disciple also, a spiritual master should have the qualities, and he should be relieved from all these vices, 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 and he should always be engaged in reciting the transcendental verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, like how Sutta Goswami has acquired the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukamuni. Similarly, the spiritual master should be well versed in all all transcendental messages of Srimad Bhagavatam by studying every day Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and he should also be well qualified so that he can train the disciples also in such a way that one should be relieved from all material sense gratifications and lamentations in his life. Because a spiritual master is the person who can engages the disciple in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam in a very proper manner. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, those who have achieved a mature understanding and transcendental sound vibration of Bhagavatam may adopt the order of Tridandi Sannyasa. So once a disciple advances in Krishna consciousness continuously without any break or without any intervals, he develops a sort of a ruchi or taste in relishing the sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then one can be promoted to the point of Vairagya, and he can become sannyas, Tridandi sannyas, as it is described in 13th chapter of 11th canto in Hamsa Gita. So a so-called Vaishnava who whimsically neglects the strict control of the body, mind, speech cannot achieve the shelter at the lotus feet of Bonafide spiritual master. Even if such a whimsical sense desire makes a show of assuming the dress or danda of Vaishnava sannyas, will not attain the desired result, love of Krishna. So once the disciple attains the platform of sannyas or the renunciation, then then he can fully absorb his life by moving from one place to another place and delivering the conditioned souls by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam and other literatures, so that he can deliver the conditioned souls from Tamo Rajoguna to Sattva-guna, and from Sattva-guna to Suddha Sattva-guna. The so-called Vaishnavas and so-called sannyasis who are Ashirvad sannyasis, they simply accept the disciples only to get some material remuneration or get some money from them and bless them, and also damages and misguides the society of this Sanatana Dharma, or the pure devotion service, or the Bhakti Yoga. So by always remembering the exalted position of the Bonafide spiritual master, the disciple will achieve the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.